All right, guys, in this video series of getting free Bitcoin, we are going to divert a little bit off topic to say why now is one of the best times to start acquiring Bitcoin. There's still anticipation for another run up throughout the end of this year, and this video is going to describe why I believe that is going to be the case. We're going to look throughout history and then assess where we are today and where we can foresee the price of Bitcoin in the coming months. Let's get into it. All right, guys, while I'm sitting around waiting for my $5,000 of OPM to come in, I'm going to go through the history to help you guys get a glimpse and understanding of what's occurred in Bitcoin over the course of its inception, so you guys are aware what history reveals and also how we can use that to help us anticipate what is going to happen in the future. And this is actually why right now I am making the move that I'm making as far as using other people's capital in order to purchase Bitcoin for myself today in this particular season. Okay, so I have broken down my trading view chart. All of these are Bitcoin and USD. Okay, and it breaks down sections for each of the cycles that have occurred. Okay, so right here in July of 2016, that was the second halving. At the time, the price of Bitcoin was $650. Here is the, oh, did I get that wrong? That's the second halving. Well, there's no need in looking at the first because that doesn't go back far enough. But yeah, let's look at that first halving, because this is actually going to give us some information. So as far as this particular exchange is concerned, Kraken, that halving would have occurred on what, the 2020 or 2012 or something like that. And then this is the run-up where it reached an all-time high in November of 2013. So let's keep that in mind, guys. That is November of 2013. And keep in mind that crypto cycles are on a 4-year cycle. Okay, and we notice a pattern of Bitcoin reaching its all-time high during the year after the halving. Okay, so the halving here occurred in 2012, and so by 2013 it reached a peak in November or December. That was the first halving. Let's jump over here to the second halving. By this time, back then, the first halving, the price was at what was that, 1,000? It got up to $1,000. Okay, and that's the all-time high, guys, not the price when the halving occurred. But the second halving, the price was $650, and it had a run up to $20,000, guys. Okay, now let's focus in on when this is. This is December of 2017. Okay, so we had the halving in June of 2016, June or July, and then the following year in December 2017 we had a run up. So it essentially went from $650 to a high of close to $20,000. Okay, that was the second halving. The third halving, let's see what happened. Okay, the third halving, at the time of the halving, the price was $8,857. This was in August of 2020. Okay, so notice the following year it reached its new all-time high when? In November of 2021. Okay, so let's follow this pattern, guys. It reached an all-time high in November or December of 13. It reached another all-time high in November, December of 2017. It reached another all-time high 4 years later in November 2021. Okay, are you guys seeing the pattern here? Okay, now let's consider where we are today. We encountered the fourth halving last year in 2024. We are now in 2025 and we are seeing a pullback. But keep in mind, guys, the all-time highs have historically reached its peak in November or December of the following year. And let's see what happened in the previous cycle. You guys noticed that there was a run up, and the price continued to run up and reach a high in April of 2021. Then there was a pullback and a recovery. Okay, that same thing is happening now, guys. Okay, we reached an all-time high in December, and there's a pullback, and many of us are expecting a recovery based on history. Okay, we see this pattern, and keep in mind, guys, cycles tend to repeat themselves. Now, of course, there are other dynamics that you want to consider as far as adoption of Bitcoin. Last year we had the ETFs approved, and so certain things do change up the dynamics a little bit. Nevertheless, we're seeing a cycle. And based on this cycle, I personally am all for. I believe there's more of a 70% chance that this year's high has not been reached yet. Okay, so we've reached up to $110,000 this year. And now there's a pullback. But keep in mind, guys, if you are going to invest, think about how to invest. You want to buy low and sell high. You do not want to buy high and sell low. Okay, so when you're seeing these red candles, this is the time to buy, especially if there's an anticipation of the price going up in the short term. Okay, and that is exactly what I am anticipating. And in anticipating this, guys, I am using other people's money. So I'm not investing any of my own money. I'm using other people's money to buy into Bitcoin while this dip is occurring. So I'm going to set my buy orders in place. Once the money comes in, I'm going to set my buy orders in place, and I'm going to wait with anticipation for the price to recover and reach another all-time high. Now, how high will this high go? I don't know. Last cycle, it only went from that went from 60, close to 65,000 to a higher high of 69,000. Not that much of a difference. And that same thing very well may occur this season or this cycle. But nevertheless, I am expecting some type of recovery to where this right here is going to be a deal and a steal to buy in at these prices. Okay, so I'll continue on this particular campaign with using other people's money. I am going to use this specifically for this strategy. While I do have other accounts with Bitcoin in it that I'm buying, holding for the long term, I am using this one just to demonstrate to you guys that you can get into Bitcoin. And if you ever have the question in your mind, no matter what the price of Bitcoin is, if you ever have the question in your mind, when is a good time to buy Bitcoin? My reply to that would be always. Okay, if you enter Bitcoin with a long-term strategy in mind, where you are going to buy it, hold it, and accumulate it over the course of years, you are pretty much going to be guaranteed a win. It's not a get rich quick. Be patient with it and take whatever capital that you can throw away on a monthly basis, whether it be $10, $50, $100, $500. If you don't need it, take it, put it in Bitcoin each month, buy Bitcoin, whatever the price is, because there are going to be price run-ups and there are going to be price pullbacks. The price is going to be pulling back low, but because you are holding your positions here and continuing to buy as the price goes down, what's going to happen over the course of time, guys? Over the course of time, that price is going to just continue to shoot up and shoot up and shoot up and shoot up. Okay, so that is the name of the game. If you want to actually win in crypto, this is going to be your best strategy. And it's always good to get in as soon as possible, because if we allow conglomerates, nation states, corporations, Michael Saylor, and all these other people to buy up Bitcoin, they are going to control it. And we as the masses are going to be left wishing that we had gotten our hands into Bitcoin. So don't be afraid of what the price of Bitcoin is today. You can buy $10 worth and still consistently grow that over time. All right, so in this particular article, I'm going to leave a link in the description to this particular article here that describes in great detail how I gifted a friend with $100 in cash and $100 in Bitcoin. That $100 in cash that I gave them, let's say I released this article last year, but that $100 in cash, its buying value, purchasing value is $78. Right now it's probably more like $75. But that $100 in Bitcoin that I gave them last year was worth $575. Today, that $100 that I gave them in Bitcoin is now worth $800+. Okay, so this is the power of Bitcoin. If you can buy it, hold it, and keep it for the long term, this is going to be the best, absolute best retirement plan that you can ever have. Okay, guys? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the description below. And we will continue with this series once I receive my $5,000 of somebody else's money. All right, guys, we will holla on the next episode. Peace out.